Hello, and welcome to PUCNN News at 6 o'clock. I'm Andrew Thall, and I will be your news anchor for this evening because Anderson Cooper is on his honeymoon. Today, I have a very special guest with me. This is Dr. Corey Wutke. He is an addiction medicine specialist. We will be discussing some of the major issues involved with alcoholism and the treatments of this disease. So, Dr. Wutke, what is alcoholism?
Alcoholism is the dependence on alcoholic substances which lead to alcohol abuse.
Exactly. Approximately, what is the percentage of men and women that are affected by alcoholism in the United States?
Approximately about 50% of Americans ages 12 and older use alcohol. Of that, 7% are heavy drinkers, which is 17 million people who are alcoholics, which is a staggering amount. Of those people, approximately 88,000 die each year, or 2.5 million years of life loss, which is around 30 years lost per person in life expectancy. Over $200 billion is spent each year on alcohol, which is around $1.90 per drink, so quite a bit.
Wow, those numbers are quite staggering. Thank you, Dr. Wutke. Now we go to Isabel Valenzuela in the field to interview a real-life alcoholic.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm here with an actual alcoholic. Sir, do you consider yourself an alcoholic?
I'm not an alcoholic, all right? I could drink every now and then, after work, before work, and after work, and I just like to have a good time. I like to party. What up, Penguin?
Great, okay. Would you ever consider trying out Alcoholics Anonymous?
I already tried Alcoholics Anonymous, all right? And they were like, you can't drink here, and you can't drink ever. Like, what if you couldn't drink ever? Would you? You would quit. I wouldn't. I like to drink. I like to party. This is what I do.
What does your family think about this?
Well, it's my mom and dad, and my Uncle Roy, he stays on the couch. But I don't live with them anymore because they kicked me out. And I think my girlfriend's going to kick me out soon, too, because she doesn't like that I drink.
Wouldn't.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add?
I just want to say, what up, Roy?
Thank you for that. Back to you, Andrew.
Thank you, Isabel, for that interesting interview. So, Dr. Wutke, do you believe that once an alcoholic is an alcoholic, that they will always be one?
Of course not.
I agree. What kind of treatments do alcoholics have? Is abstinence the only answer, or is there other options?
There's lots of other options. Of course, abstinence is a possibility that is highly recognized through Alcoholics Anonymous, or AA, and has worked well for some people. However, not everyone can completely abstain from alcohol once they've used it once or twice. Some people relapse, and of course, we have to have an option for those people. Some of those are behavioral self-control training, which people get trained how to control the amount of alcohol which they consume so that they don't become drunk or become reliant upon it, and they can just use it from time to time as normal people would who can control their intake. There's also drinking in moderation, which some people can just do by themselves, and they can learn it without the training, but that is very rare and doesn't happen quite often. You can also do relapse prevention, which usually happens for people who are in Alcoholics Anonymous, and they feel that after they have relapsed, that it's the end of the line, they've drank in some alcohol, and they're going to just keep drinking more alcohol, and so they relapse, and so we also have programs to help people with that so that they don't continue their use of alcohol and they can get back on track and back to their control of alcohol use.
Fascinating, thank you. Could you please describe for me the disease model of alcoholism coined by the support group Alcoholics Anonymous, please?
Of course. I'm sure you've heard of the term one drink, one drunk. Have you not?
Yes.
Of course. So That is one saying that Alcoholics Anonymous likes to say around quite frequently. They believe in abstinence is the only option for alcoholics because they feel that is a genetically inherited trait and that people who are alcoholics cannot quit being alcoholics,
Right.
which is a common misconception. People who drink can stop at any time, and that is partly why we do have training to have people teach them self-control of their alcohol consumption. That way they do not become drunk. And it's a very common misconception that is promoted through Alcoholics Anonymous. Although I'm not going to bag on Alcoholics Anonymous too much because they have shown some improvement for some people. It just isn't an option for everyone, and some people, although they can decrease the amount, they cannot quit completely. So it is not the only option, although it is one option.
Thank you, Dr. Wutke. And now we go to a real-life scenario of an alcoholic that has recovered from this disease.
Thank you again, Andrew. Pedro, do you consider yourself an alcoholic?
Actually, no, not any longer. I was an alcoholic for about 10 years. It was a hard process. I recently just about recently. I haven't been an alcoholic for quite a while. So.
Okay, tell me about that. How did it go?
Well, I did go to AA meetings, Alcoholic Anonymous meetings, and yeah, for about 10 years. So the one thing I remember is this gentleman I met. His name was Abin, and he was taking meetings for like 30 years, and he still has issues today. And while I was taking those meetings, the AA meetings, I was still going through relapse. So I would be drinking, and Abin had a similar issue, and he was doing it for 30 years. And like, so how long do I have to wait for it to work out? I mean, if it's not working out for him, then is it going to work out for me? So I thought about it for quite a while, and I've also heard of this process called
Behavioral self-control therapy? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, behavioral self-control therapy, where it kind of helped me regulate, like how many times I would drink a day or a week, or just kind of like and that really helped me a lot. And I finally got out of those AA meetings that didn't seem to help me. It just seems like there's more options than just abstinence. And I mean, I don't think abstinence is the only way to stop drinking or stop being an alcoholic. And I don't know. I still think to this day that Aubin guy is still in AA meetings. So I should probably tell him about this information. So all right.
Well, thank you so much, Pedro. Back to you, Andrew.
Thank you, Isabel, for an actual interview. I would like to thank Dr. Wutke for joining me this evening.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. This has been a very informative session for me about alcoholism. It's nice to know that there are other options out there besides abstinence, so that when I become an alcoholic, I won't have to give up my drinking entirely.
That's not what I'm...
Anyways, I'm Andrew Thall with PUCNN News, signing off.
It's not.